What separates a good player from a great one is how they perform under pressure. And there isn't any pressure like the NHL playoffs as teams and players fight for the grand prize. The Stanley Cup, nicknames like the Magnificent One and the Great One, are earned in the playoffs by creating some of the most memorable moments. It's in the playoffs where legends are made and players etch their names in history books. So let's look at some of these legendary moments and performances. Without further ado, Vagabond Hockey will get started on the countdown of the 10 best Stanley Cup playoff performances. Nicknamed Burnaby Joe, Sakic is considered one of the greatest team leaders in league history. His wrist shot put fear in the hearts of the best goalies of his time and earned him the MVP for his incredible 1996 playoff performance. Starting off, Sakic led Quebec Nordiques, later known as the Colorado Avalanche, to the Stanley Cup in his very first year with the team as he scored 120 points in 82 games. Sakic would top his regular season play with an incredible playoff effort. He'd score 18 goals, one goal short of the playoff record, but managed to set the record for the most game-winning goals in a single playoff series with 6 game winners. Sakic would finish the playoffs hoisting 2 trophies, the Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe Trophy. Leach is one of only 5 NHL defensemen to score 100 points in a season with his 102-point campaign in 1991-92. But his greatest moment would come in 1994 when he led the New York Rangers to end their 54-year championship drought by winning the Stanley Cup. For his part, Leach had 11 goals, 23 assists, and a plus-minus of positive 19 in 23 games in the 1994 playoffs. 5 of those 11 goals coming in the finals, including a pivotal goal in Game 7 to help the Rangers beat the Canucks 3-2. This was good enough to win him the Conn Smythe Trophy as the playoff MVP, making him the second player in NHL history to win the Calder Trophy, the Norris Trophy, and the Conn Smythe Trophy in his career. However, we'd be doing Mark Messier a disservice if we don't mention his incredible 1994 playoff run, which included a Game 6 guaranteed win when they were down 3-2 to the New Jersey Devils. He had 12 goals, 18 assists, and a plus-minus of positive 14 in 23 games, as he won his 6th Stanley Cup. No wonder he's known as the Messiah. Dryden was a unique case, as in 1971, he wasn't even the starting goalie for the Montreal Canadiens. He was called up from the minors late in the season and played only 6 regular season games. However, his 1.65 goals against average was so impressive that he got the starting spot heading into the playoffs. This timely change would be the key for the Canadiens as Dryden helped them win the Stanley Cup while earning himself the Conn Smythe Trophy for his efforts. In the finals, Dryden saved 210 out of 228 shots as he led the Canadiens to come back down 0-2 against the Blackhawks. His playoff performance included a 12-8-0 record in 20 games with a goals against average of 3.01 and a save percentage of .914. The unlikely story is one reason we love this sport so much. The only downside of having one of the best regular seasons of all time is that everyone expects you to take it to another level in the playoffs. Good thing Bernie Parent was one of the rare few whose game only got better as the spotlight grew brighter. In the 1975 regular season, Parent would be awarded the Vezina Trophy as he had 12 shutouts while having 2.03 goals against average and a .918 save percentage. However, what really made this a legendary run was his playoff performance, where he had 4 shutouts with a 1.89 goals against average and a save percentage of .924. He would shut out the Buffalo Sabres in the deciding Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals too, making only the Lord saves more than Bernie Parent a popular catchphrase for that time. He won his 2nd Conn Smythe Trophy and his 2nd Stanley Cup as well. Richard had already established himself as one of the premier talents in the league when he became the first player in NHL history to score 50 goals in one season in 1944-45. However, in 1951, Richard took his game to the next level as he led all teams in the playoffs with 9 goals, 13 points, 6.4 goals created, 8 even-strength goals, and 3 game-winning goals. Teams simply didn't have an answer for Richard as he displayed all his talents, leading the Montreal Canadiens to the Stanley Cup final. There, they'd contest for one of the closest Stanley Cup finals of all time, but would come up short of the grand prize. However, it wasn't for a lack of effort from Maurice Richard, who looked to be a one-man team out there on the ice as he scored in every game of the finals, keeping the Canadiens competitive. When you're nicknamed the Magnificent One and Super Mario, you must have done quite a few legendary things with your time on the ice. One of those being the 1991 run to the Stanley Cup. This run would see Lemieux score 16 goals and 28 assists for the playoff lead, as he led the Penguins to their first Stanley Cup. This included a comeback down 0-2 against the Boston Bruins, where Lemieux led the Penguins to 4 straight wins, scoring and assisting in each of those 4 games. While in the finals, Lemieux would miss a game because of a back injury, but would still finish with 12 points in 5 games to earn the Conn Smythe Trophy for the most valuable player. Not to mention scoring one of the most famous goals in NHL history, which would be played in reverse as a promo for the NHL playoffs from that point on, as well as the opening montage of Hockey Night in Canada. The goal was an incredible solo drive from between the Penguins' blue and center line, as he skillfully maneuvered around 2 defensemen, nutmegging one of them and scoring an incredible goal for leading the goalie in the wrong direction. Like we said, you have to do some memorable things to be called the Magnificent One. Patrick Roy, or better known as St. Patrick, is regarded as one of the best goalies in NHL history. He's the only player to win the Conn Smythe Trophy 3 times, the only one to do so in 3 different decades, and the only one to do so for 2 teams. One of those 3 trophies came in 2001, where Roy had an incredible 16-7-0-0 record in 23 games with a goals against average of 1.70 and a save percentage of .934. During the finals, Roy had one bad game, which came during Game 5, where the team lost 4-1, giving the New Jersey Devils a 3-2 lead in the series. So it was win or go home time for Roy, and he would show the world why he was a champion. In Game 6, he recorded his 18th career playoff shutout, winning the game 4-0. This win shifted the momentum towards the Colorado Avalanche, which carried on in Game 7 where they won 3-1, the single conceding goal being a consolation goal. Roy led in playoff wins, shot against, shot saved, save percentage, goals against average, and shutouts. He also saved a staggering 167 shots out of a total 178 attempted in the finals. Perhaps the greatest defenseman in NHL history, Bobby Orr, was one of a kind. He holds the record for most points and assists in a single season by a defenseman, and he has won a record 8 consecutive Norris trophies, along with 3 consecutive Hart trophies. He's also the only defenseman to win the Art Ross Trophy. At the time, he was the youngest to be inducted into the Hall of Fame at age 31. A part of his legacy is his 1970 playoff run, where he had 9 goals, 11 assists, and a plus-minus of positive 24 in 14 games in the 1970 playoffs. Orr would hold down the Bruins' defense line as they only lost 2 games during the entire playoffs, while sweeping their semifinal and final matchups. He stamped the final win by delivering one of the most memorable goals in NHL history when he scored at the 42nd mark of the first overtime period in the 4th game of the finals. The game-winning goal completed the sweep of the St. Louis Blues and etched Orr's name in history as he won his first Conn Smythe Trophy and his first Stanley Cup. Terry Sawchuk was a 4-time Vezina Trophy winner, and at the time of his passing, was the all-time leader among NHL goalies with 447 wins and 103 shutouts. His legendary career included some incredible playoff highs as he won the Stanley Cup 4 times. His single best performance came in 1952, where he went 8-0-0 in 8 games, with a goals against average of 0.63 with 4 shutouts. In fact, With the Detroit Red Wings, he only surrendered 5 goals in those 8 games and had 2 of his 4 shutouts in the finals as he helped sweep the Toronto Maple Leafs, which came on the heels of another sweep, this time Montreal Canadiens being the victims, where Sawchuk had another 2 shutouts. The NHL didn't start handing out the Conn Smythe Trophy for the playoff MVP till 1965, but if they had it in Sawchuk's era, he no doubt would have had a couple of them in his trophy cabinet. The word greatness is synonymous with Gretzky, as he often goes by the nickname The Great One. Regarded as the best NHL player in the history, he leads the NHL in goals scored, assists produced, and points scored, among many other accolades and records. In 1985, Gretzky would add to his Hall of Fame career by having a playoff performance unlike any other. On his way to winning his first Conn Smythe Trophy and his second Stanley Cup, Gretzky had 17 goals, 30 assists, and a plus-minus of positive 27 in 18 games the 1985 playoffs. He would score 7 of his 17 goals in 5 games of the finals, tying the record set by Jean Beliveau in 1956. His finals performance also came with a hat trick in Game 3, where he single-handedly led the Oilers to a 4-3 victory over the Flyers. While in Game 4, Gretzky would lead a comeback down 3-1 as he scored 2 goals to win the game 5-3. He led the playoffs in assists with 30, had the most points with 47, and created the most goals with 17.5. However, we should take a moment and mention Paul Coffey as well. In the 1985 playoffs, Coffey also put up some incredible numbers. He would have 12 goals, 25 assists, and a plus-minus of positive 23 in 18 games. Together, Coffey and Gretzky dominated all competition and secured themselves the coveted prize of the Stanley Cup. What do you think? Did we miss someone? Would you exclude someone? Comment below. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to Vagabond Hockey. Hit the little bell beside it so you're notified the next time we upload a new video.